All right, ladies, we are live and in color or live on tape, as Mez used to say back in the day. If you all remember Mez,
Where's he at?
Man, I don't know, dude. He just like this. He like does a video once every 2 years, like that Foo guy who almost got in the Hall of Fame last year. He did. So, apparently, that's all it takes. So, Bob, what do you think? What kind of pizza you eating over there, Bob?
Better ingredients, better pizza.
Papa John's.
Right.
What kind of toppings you got there?
What's on it? Yeah.
What kind of toppings you think?
Just cheese only.
I'm very boring. I do have, however, the garlic dip, which is something special.
I can't believe that, dude. You're just a cheese only kind of guy. That's so boring.
I don't know. So every sausage, pepperoni, all that stuff gives me heartburn now. So
right. I mean, we all know that Mark loves his sausage, but I know you don't. So
Polish sausage.
Oh man.
We should talk about Mark as much as possible because we know he can't join us.
Yeah, right. I figure we just bring up no matter what, and we just even if we're not talking specifically about Mark, we just name drop him throughout the thing because he can't defend himself.
You know he's coming in. He can't sit this out. He'll come in.
Yeah, especially when we start talking about his lack of a collection. Hey, what up, Troy? What up, Saul? Thanks for popping in.
If he is really going to bed, he needs to have a webcam and get him in here with him sleeping.
He needs to have a bed cam. He needs one of those nanny cams, like in the with the bear, like watching them. Yeah. Oh my god.
He could just have a camera on him 24/7, and I think
like the Truman Show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Except much cooler and weirder.
Right. Definitely. Yeah, we see him caressing his Eloy Jimenez cards and stuff. He's just like,
oh, there's Josh. Josh,
what up, here. Josh? Yeah, we're juice box heroes over here.
He's trying to manipulate the market on Tim Anderson rookies. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I know.
The guy's undervalued.
I want you know, if you see my cat, it kills me. You know what happened on the live stream because he's right next to me, and I think he's waiting for the kill strike.
How is Garfield? How's that going so far?
So far, so good. He's been pretty nice addition to the family. I every once in a while threaten to take him to a Chinese restaurant, but so far he's got in line. So
that straightens him up.
He knows I know people, so it's not like it's a secret. He sees them coming and going. He knows what's up. So
he's like, this guy's lived in Japan for a decade.
Right, yeah. Between Japan, China, and Korea, I know people. So hey, what up, Jesse? I'm glad you're here. At least you're here in
he said he'd try again later.
Right, let's hope so. We got the D. No, Troy, it's sitting right on my drawer, dude. I'm going to start, man. I'm serious. I'm going to start. I'm going to do a DDT on some people, dude. I'm going to do the bang. We'll be ready. Don't you worry. I'm going to drop it on somebody. After I become a YouTube Hall of Famer, I'm going to start. I'll get in shape. That's gonna be my catalyst.
Do we have a tally on that yet, Zombie, or not?
I don't know, dude. I feel like I don't know, man. I think Alex.
No spreadsheet out there yet?
Well, Alex and I talked offline earlier today, and he created about 15 shell accounts. So I think we're gonna be able to make it happen.
Push it over the top.
Right? Yeah, put me on the top. That way, there's no way I'm not gonna not get in. Hey, what up, Don?
Bob's laying in the weeds because he's going to wait to see how many votes you have. Because if you got enough, he's not going to vote for you. That way he can stay. That way he can stay in good graces. Phil's doing the same thing.
Yeah, Phil did the same thing last year.
I've got my Hall of Fame integrity to keep.
So I want to ask you all. I do have a question. I probably do this once in a while, but I don't know if I asked you guys live before. What is a channel that you're watching now or over the last, relatively recently that you really is not maybe getting much love that you really think's a great channel And it doesn't really have to do with sub counts necessarily, but just what's a channel you're really enjoying. I mean, they can have 1,000 subs, they can have 4 subs. I mean, this someone you don't really see anybody talking about much.
Let me look on my list, Dommy.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
sure.
I mean, I've been.
I want to support some people tonight. I want to get out there and support some people. So,
well, I've been dipping my toe in the hockey market again.
okay.
So there's a whole. There seems like to be a little niche group of guys from Instagram that have kind of or a hockey group, and they're all good guys. I mean, they almost feel like. Because hockey prices, I don't know, you guys probably don't know, they're starting to like see some attention, we'll say, like Lemieux rookies. I think there was a big sale of a Gretzky, and like even low end 90s, early 90s rookies are going up. So there's a guy that I've been watching because I'm Carlos. His name is Carlos. He's got tons of subs and he's got a lot of followers. He's doing a lot of like podcasts and community and involvement. He brings people on his channel, a lot of interviews, but they're 4 to 7 hour podcasts sometimes, man. So they're marathons, but it is keeps it pretty interesting. And it's not all hockey talk. He kind of tailors his the conversation, the discussion to whoever is on his show. But I've just been kind of enjoying those things that I can put on in the background,
I'm going to bounce off Bob there because I'm going to shout out the all-time sports blog, Victor.
Victor Roman, yeah, he's the man.
He does. I don't know why he does, but he shouted out because I'm Carlos today. So I went and checked out his channel. That's another one of those guys. He's got like 2,500 subs, but his views are like 60 on his regular videos. I don't understand.
I don't know how that happened.
Explain that to me.
Subs and views are completely separate. They're totally separate. Like they don't match up at all. Like sub counts happens like over a long period of time, but views fluctuate because people come and go. Even though you have a number of subscribers, it doesn't necessarily mean all those people are actually still on YouTube or actually even watching.
I brought up this before. And Alex, I'll ask you something. Do you sub to people that you don't watch?
If I find a channel or somebody says, "Hey, you should check this channel out," I'll sub for that. Or if somebody like comments on my channel, or because some people when they subscribe, you can tell they subscribed. It tells you who it was. Other people do it anonymously. So if they've got their subscription thing public, I'll go check them out and sub to them too. But I will eventually, if I'm not really getting into their videos after a few of them, I'll drop them on. I assume people do that to me too. I see my sub counts go up and down. I think it's just natural. It's just like there's way too much to watch.
Mine always go down after I try to zombie.
Right. Yeah, I just lost a couple subs from being on this stream, but it is what it is. But I don't know. I'm a small potato, so I only have like 360 subs, but I get 100, 150 views.
So
and another thing, Bob, I talked to Stoff about, a lot of the views come from guys that aren't subbed.
I was just going to say that. You mentioned that earlier, and I looked at analytics because I was kind of curious myself. It's not something I visit, but like more than half of my views come from non-subscribers.
Yeah, so I don't understand this stuff.
Or even like how they find my channel. It's just like it's usually through I think like what are they recommended videos or something.
Right.
I still need to put that disclaimer out. If you found my channel because of that one like video of mine that has like 15,000 views or whatever, it's not that kind of channel. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
It's barely a channel at all anymore.
Right. I had asked that before if guys are just trading subs to get their sub count up, but sub count doesn't make you any money, does it? If you're monetizing, it's got to be views, right?
Views, likes, and dislikes is from what I've heard. Those are the things that are pulled into that algorithm.
Right.
Yeah, subs I don't think matter because you can buy subs. Stoph and I looked. We were just goofing off and thinking to get the Cardboard podcast to like over 1,000 subs. Like there's like different ways you can do it. You can have like this trickle effect where over like the course of 3 months or whatever, like you get like little bumps here and there, so it looks like it's natural or whatever.
Right.
Or you can just buy it like 1,000 subs for $40 or something. It's kind of goofy. So we haven't done that yet, obviously.
I'm a little nervous. Jason's getting a little too quiet. I think it might be the Centauri.
Sorry about that, Jason. I kind of got off topic there, man.
No, man. I was letting you all talk. I mean, it ain't the Jason show.
It's back
Though
to
it might
Alex.
be.
Alex.
Though some people might think it is.
Alex channel.
No.
Shout out.
No. I mean, like a guy. This guy's been around for a while, and I think actually Bob and you, Alex, had told me about him probably 6 months ago, maybe, and I just was kind of like, I'm like a very hard guy to like willing to listen to watch another channel like religiously because I got so many people that I'm really like loyal to and I enjoy. Yeah. And I don't want to, and I honestly don't like to be spreading myself so thin that I feel like it's a job. And we've all had that conversation before. But Brent, Near Mint Musing,
yeah,
he has like 211 subs or something like that.
Oh, he's gonna have more.
Well, it's in the 200 range, maybe 277. It's like 200 and something though.
Yeah.
Are you looking it up? I don't want to mischaracterize it.
Brent's a good guy, man.
Yeah, and he's a guy that I was turned on to again recently. I think I saw a couple people do some YouTube Hall of Fame videos about him. And,
yeah, I voted for him.
Did you do one?
Yeah.
That might be weird because I respect you guys. And when you all put somebody like that up there, I know before we just were talking passing about, players, about channels we like.
226. That's
right.
So
yeah. So
I've been hearing that for years. Like, oh, I can't believe you only have so and so. And it's like, how much somebody likes your channel really has nothing to do with how many subscribers they have. And I think to me, it's like, are you making content on a regular basis? Have you been doing it for a long time? But there's no rhyme or reason to it. I mean, like Gary, you've been doing this for a long time. And to me, when I think of Gary, I'd be like, he's got to have like 1,500 subscribers. But that's not.
I'm like Bob. I'm just letting my channel grow naturally. I'm not growing as fast as Bob, but I don't even know. I don't know if I want to grow that big. I mean, I like the interaction with the guys I know. So, I mean, if I had 2,000 subscribers, man, I'd be in trouble.
Right.
I like to keep up with everybody that I collect. So I don't know, man.
I think this is where I've got into my head, at least, like, because all you guys have videos that have posted in the last couple of weeks that I haven't watched, because if I watched it, I would comment on it.
Yeah, you're a jerk.
But none of you guys are like we're all still friends, I'm assuming, right? It's like, because we also talk outside of just the YouTube comment section.
Right. That's where, yeah.
So I feel like that's what's going to sustain, and that's not to say that that interaction that happens on the channel and only on the channel isn't important, because it is, because that's where all this starts, and I hate to feel like sometimes where it's like you want to be as welcoming to everybody and develop a meaningful relationship or whatever that means for each person, but it's not possible. It's just an impossible. Right. So you take what you can get. I don't know. Do you feel like, okay, I've made enough friends, like there's no more? That's a silly way to think about it, but I don't maybe I'm not as active as like getting to the next, digging a little bit deeper than just that surface layer, like comment stuff with people. Because I feel like, geez, I'm not even in a position to like be a participatory friend as it is right now in like conversations that are going on. So it's like, I don't want to just drive myself crazy with like guilt or like feeling like I'm not being a good, YouTube Hall of Famer. Wait, that's not what I meant to say. I'm not being a good friend.
I get what you're saying.
All these people. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
we've all been in this sort of mindset at one point or another. It's like, whether it's making videos or commenting or watching other people's videos or trying to make friends with everybody, it's like no matter what it is, at a certain point, if it starts to feel like work and it's not actually fun, then to me that's a problem. And it's like, none of us have to do this, right? We do it because it's a break and it's fun and it's, like a release from work or whatever else is going on. And if it's not that, then it's like, man, it's just more stress, right? I don't think that's a good way to go about it. So I just for me, it's like there's only so much time in the day,
Yeah.
And I think what you said a few moments ago for me, Alex, is true. Is like, and I've said that I think before we got on here a little bit. It's like for me, it's more about cultivating the friendships with people we already have, already friends with, like, and like you and Gary and Bob and a handful of others. Like I'd rather stay with those guys and stick with them and then try to spread myself so thin. Because again, for me, this is not a popularity contest. It's not for trying to see how many subs I can get. I'm not trying to make money off of this, all that. It's just building that relationship with people I enjoy that you can't really do probably around you because you don't have any friends or anybody you can collect with or who can enjoy and share your passion, right? So for me, it's more about like not trying to be Mr. Popular, even though that's what happens naturally with me because I have the Guatemales, the natural heat. But I mean,
people are drawn to.
But this is,
my being so humble about it. But I mean,
wants to make new friends, and that's not what anybody's trying to say here, right? Like, like it's still cool to meet new people, and like I've like even recently in the past couple of weeks, I've made like new connections with channels. It's like, holy crap, how did I not know about your channel? And we've been, commenting.
Right. Right now, Don, right here, Don's in here. He's a Pittsburgh guy. I met him recently through here. Like I said, Brent, Nearmint Musing. They're the KBO baseball cards, a guy in Korea. I started watching him. So there, just in the matter of just like, I agree with you. I should make it clear. It's not that I'm saying I don't want to spread my love around the community more. But I think
spread enough.
For me, just enough. But like Kurt Russell's character in Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2, you got to go to every galaxy and try to see if your seed will take shape there, right? So, for me, like you said, Alex, you go to somebody's channel, you check out 2 or 3 videos, maybe, if you feel a connection, you like what they're doing, you stick around. If you don't, you leave. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the same thing that'll happen to my channel. I'll get 2 or 3 new subs in a week, and then I drop 2. It just happens because they're like, that Jason guy, he's a schmuck. Screw him.
Dude, and it might not even be that. It's just like, you just. It's like I don't watch him. I know about him, and like he's an okay dude. Or he's out there. He's got his own thing. And I'm just trying to like decrease some notifications in my feed a little bit. Like it might not. It's nothing. I don't think it's anything personal. Like
Bob, are you attracted to what you collect, or you look? That's my problem. I seem to be attracted to guys that like to collect what I collect. So I always kind of, for some reason.
Yeah,
so that's why I don't watch the football guys. I don't watch the hockey guys.
Right.
I just don't collect that. I'm not interested.
Understandable. I think Yeah, there's definitely something to that. I mean, because automatically then you have something in common, right? You have something in common.
Yeah, right. I guess I was gonna say, why do we want to see the same cards that we collect? You'd think we'd want to see what other guys are out there doing.
Well, I like you got, those, like you're showing players that I've never even heard of, really. But like these are guys that like you watched playing, or like there's some, I don't know. You have so much knowledge of these guys that are like semi-stars, but they were impactful for that team, or a certain season that they had that was kind of I don't know, but those rookie cards that people aren't really like focused on, and that's an educational thing for me. Like I've learned and gained such an appreciation for so many players that I really just had like an idea that they existed because of like the Beckett or something. But hearing people that actually know those players and talk about maybe either watching them or what it was like collecting them or different cards, that's all interesting to me, even if I don't collect it. So I think that's still a part of it for me. Like there's one guy, he collects a lot, like me, likes a lot of the same players in sports and stuff. Where I have all the base cards, he's got like the refractor versions, PSA 9s and 10s, So it's like it's basically all the same cards that I have or like, just like the best versions of them all. So like that is interesting. I'm interested in that. That's kind of cool. Like, why would we want to see all? Why would we want to see all the same cards that we all collect?
Right. Because like Picker Jim, when he showed up, I fell in love with him right off the bat.
Oh yeah, I knew that was a match made in heaven for sure.
So, so I always have my door open for more friends. It's probably easier for me now to decide, okay, I connect with this guy than it was when I first started, for sure. So.
Mm-hmm. And then some guys, like, I'm not a TTMer, but like there's guys that like, Scott Spalding. I'll watch his videos just because like I want to see what's going on in his world. He's got Sarah, his daughter. And was kind of following that so you just kind of get invested into, and they're short 2-3 minute videos, and it's hearing somebody and the joy that they got from a return that maybe took a year or something. Like I imagine in the TTM world that's a big deal, like the tracking of when it was sent out and when it comes back, and the reward of like something coming back after maybe you had given up hope for it. Like those are kind of cool little hobby stories that I like.
Right.
Even though I'm not a TTM, but so much to like in the hobby, or just kind
of. And since we got TTM Troy in here, I think with the TTMs,
he wrote.
Are we sure? Are we sure some of those TTMs that are coming back, are they signed by the wife, or are they signed by the player?
Yeah,
because supposedly that happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Gary, clubhouse cards or clubhouse autos, or what were those like back in the day?
Yeah,
like
back in those days, yeah.
They just had some ball boy sign them for them or something.
Most definitely.
So Dawn Sutton, that's a sad.
That's a sad one there, man. I can't believe Jesse doesn't have a Don Sutton rookie.
Sorry,
that's criminal. He's a Dodgers fan. That's criminal.
Yeah.
That? I liked his hair. It's always like just felt like puffy.
Oh yeah, man. That's because he was old. When I was watching it, he was getting old.
Actually, I got Don last year through TTM.
Oh, no kidding. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, two autographs. He sent me both of them back, and he's one of those guys that's known to charge you through the mail. I think he was like $5 or $10 per, like per card. But I sent him a really heartfelt letter, which I perceived as a heartfelt letter, and I didn't send him any money. And then he autographed both cards for me at no charge.
And sent you a bill. Oh no!
And yeah, and then he put his email down for his PayPal account.
Jason, now that you're in the PSA game, will you slab those TTMs or not?
Yeah, I'll probably start doing that too. Yeah, I mean, there's so many cards I want to get from my collection. Like a lot of my, I mean, like I would say, like my super short prints and like numbered cards that are my Ichiros and some of my like Mattingly type stuff. And I have some really pretty old vintage. I think I sent you all some pictures of some of the stuff I got recently, about maybe 5 months ago. I finally got that. Out to my connection, and he sent that in the PSA. But I mean, so yeah, I definitely will do some autographs, but it's a separate. I'm sure I'm not telling anybody what they don't know, but that's a separate PSA order. You can't put that with your normal order. You got to do a different service. So I have a handful of TTMs that I probably will do that with. Yes, to answer your question.
So let me ask you further. Do you care about, like, I think there's a dual service, like you get the card graded and the autograph authenticated. Or wait, and then there's like the autograph grading. Do you care about the grade of an autograph? Alex, he's more of an autograph guy, I think, but
yeah, but
does it give it more value
for baseballs? I think that's a baseball card thing.
They don't grade them for baseballs.
They just tell you whether it's authenticated or not. I mean, I guess you could, but I've never really gotten into that.
Alex is the ball guy. He likes his balls. I'm not as much versed on that.
Does the grade being autographed, does that bring more money? Bob, rather than just the card?
So I think I would say if like an autograph, if there was a card that was graded as far as the 4 things that were used to being graded, edges, corners, surface, centering, everything was equal there, but there was an autograph grade 10 and autograph grade 9. I would think the 10 would sell for more. Maybe the 9 was like streaky or like it wasn't as slit or it went off the sticker or I don't care. That stuff doesn't bother me. Like I don't.
Right.
But
I mean, for me personally, if I was gonna obviously resell it like anybody else, you want to get the highest grade possible. I mean, that just goes without saying. But if you're talking about Gary, like my personal collection, yeah, I don't really care. I mean, all I care about if it's like a TTM or I got it in a trade with somebody or whatever. I just want them to authenticate it. I just want them to say that's real. If I'm not going to pay for the extra additional cost for them to tell me, well, it's authentic plus it's a 7 or it's a 10 or it's a 3 or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But if like if I got like Juan Soto on a card like in a baseball game, and then I want to turn around and sell that, I probably would want to get the grade on the autograph if you think it looks good. But like what Bob was saying, if it's smeared or it goes off the card or whatever gets a fingerprint on it, well, then you probably don't want to get it graded for that because then it's going to lower the value, of course.
Jace, what two cards did you get autographed to his? Were they playing days cards or were they?
Yeah, they're playing. I can go get them if you want, but yeah, they're playing days cards.
Snag them real quick.
Yeah, I'll be right.
If you don't mind. Hey, shout out to Vintage Oddball Rick there, man. He showed a Maple Crispet Babe Ruth card today. It's just awesome. By far my favorite Babe. That's my favorite Babe Ruth card, man.
I never heard.
Awesome card. You didn't see it yet, Alex?
No, I saw it. I've never seen that card before. Never.
Oh yeah, I have the Ray Shaw from that series from the Maple Crispet, but in my White Sox Hall of Fame display. But yeah, those Maple Crispet, they're sweet, man.
Yeah, I bought a big. I'm sorry, Alex. Go ahead, man.
No. I was good. Go ahead.
We were talking like I had just bought a Shaq autographed rookie card, but it was in a PSA slab just marked authentic, and that to me was all I needed. I didn't need the card to be graded. I didn't need.
And that's an after, right, Bob? That was like a TTM Shaq, right? Because Shaq didn't have any actual autographs in 1993.
Right. Somebody had him autograph it, big silver signature on it, and that was just something that's been on my bucket list for a couple of years now. Getting like an autographed rookie for him, mainly it just checked a lot of the boxes for me as far as like nostalgic, and then makes me think of times with my dad and all that jazz. So
all that
that's
stuff.
one I'm pretty happy to have. But I didn't need it. I wouldn't have bought it outside of that PSA slab or outside of some kind of authority saying it's authentic.
Does he sign it Shaq O'Neal or Shaquille O'Neal?
It's kind of like an SO, but it's a little squiggler in there.
Gotcha.
And sometimes he'll do a 32 or 34 depending upon it, but this one doesn't have it. It's nice, big, bold. And you know his Upper Deck rookie where it's like the 3 stages of him dunking?
Right. Is that the short print?
It's not the trade card. It's the
Okay.
actual. I think the Beckett only had one of his rookies as like SP in it. It was a Skyblock.
Oh, well, whatever that Upper Deck one was. Wasn't that one tougher to pull? One of them?
I don't know. So there was
Or
a
a
trade
send-in?
card. There was an
Send-in?
exchange one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha.
I still like I was specifically looking for one, not the trade one, the one that said number 1 draft pick at the top as opposed to trade card. You know, I didn't. There's no difference between the cards as far as just one is numbered 1 and says number 1 draft pick. The other one's 1B and says trade card. Like there's no, I don't know. I still there's a couple of Shaq rookies out there I still need. I want to get that Tony's Pizza Fleer one. That's kind of a rare one.
Never even heard
Jason.
of
Yes.
Funny.
Yes,
Where's
I
them
did.
Suttons? Show your Sutton.
it. 82 Fleer, right? Yep.
Astros Junior.
I guess he did. He didn't sign that across his face, did he? Doesn't look like it.
No.
Just under his
Why,
chin.
is that something he did, Gary?
That's what Jesse said. Something about he signs across his face or something.
Oh, really? Somebody has said Willie Starkville too. He signs like vertically, like
Yeah.
up the card.
And then this one's the better one. That first one was I guess out of the 2, that was the one I least like, if you could say that. This one is like really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. That is nice.
Wow.
I think Josh said we haven't seen really a bump in his prices on that stuff yet. Maybe that was just cards. I wonder if the autos have, got a little boost since this happened.
Well, I went and looked at Major League Baseball autograph authenticated on eBay today. Not for Don Sutton, but for other players. And there's about like 50 Don Sutton autographed baseballs on there right now. And they're all hovering around at $10 to $15. So I mean, the baseball costs $20. Being authenticated, I'm assuming it's probably another $20 or something like that. So the ball by itself is like $40, and you have about 30 listings at with shipping at $15. So I think that you probably will have plenty of options to pick from of like how you want an autographed ball from Don Sutton. Do you want it just on the sweet spot? Do you want his Hall of Fame year? Do you want his All-Star appearances? Do you want it on a black ball with gold ink? Whatever. It's like all kinds of options.
And that's another thing, Jason, with the TTMs like that. When you send stuff like to him, do you have to request that, or you just send them and hoping he just signs them?
Like the secret I use. I mean, if you want to call it a secret or whatever, is that I always say, and it sounds like maybe almost like stupid to ask, but I always think it's funny because over the decades of me doing this off and on since about like 2001, I guess, I always send a couple cards or whatever I'm sending to whoever I'm sending, I'll send 1 or 2 cards. If I have more, I tell them to keep it for themselves because they might be collectors of their own cards or they give it to other people who might not send anything. And then I always say, if you have anything else laying around you want to send me, I'd be more than happy to have it. Take it or whatever, like joking around. And it always works. Like I'll get all kinds of crazy stuff. I had like Henry Winkler send me all kinds of like stickers autographed and like coasters and stuff. And I mean, you just never know what you're gonna get. So I never ask the guys I never tell them how to sign or what to put on the autograph. I'm just saying if you can just send me an autograph, I would greatly appreciate it. That's it. And I
Do you request
once
what
in a
they
while,
sign it in? Do you request what they use? Do you actually request what they use to sign it, or is it kind of like common knowledge that people use a Sharpie?
Right. Well, you know what? I always think the more requirements or demands you make on somebody to do it for free, they A, won't do it, or B, they think you're a seller and they don't want to do it because then they think you're going to turn around and resell it. So I'm like, I'm just always like, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. If you have the moment of your time, I'd be very grateful. I mean, I use all your please and thank you words you learned in first grade, and like I said, my success rate's pretty high. I mean, like I said, Don Sutton's not really known to sign through the mail without a price. So, like I said, I feel like my strategy usually works because it's authentic, but I also sent to some like no-name jabroni named Ron Reed, who was a Braves pitcher from in the 60s, and he sent me back a list of telling me I have to pay him money. And I mean, like, you got Don Sutton, who's a Hall of Famer, who did it for free, but then Ron Reed, who's his mom doesn't even know. His mom doesn't even remember his first name.
Ron Reed needs a little scratch, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, and he's trying. He says it's for a charity, but anybody can say that, and it might be 100%, but any guy who wants money, they can always say that, it's for a charity. Yeah, it's called Please Deepen My Pockets with More of Your Money, charity.com.org.edu. But yeah, so what about you? What about you, Gary? Is there you haven't done a lot of videos recently, and I know a lot of it has to do with you're pretty busy, but have you been picking up a lot, or kind of where's your focus been? Where's your focus going to be in 2021?
I don't know if I'm really going to be focused on anything with all these prices. Things have just got crazy. I was watching. I was looking at a 34 Lou Gehrig, and somebody had it up. It was pretty decent. Wasn't a high grade, and somebody bought it up in like 20 minutes, and it was like $1,400, $1,500 and gone.
That's chunk change for Alex.
I'm probably sitting out this year for the big stuff, just see what happens with the market. So I did an order the other day from Four Sharp Corners, just about 6 cards. Picked up another Fred McGriff rookie in a 9, a Bo Jackson top traded in a 9. Small potatoes like that.
Let me ask you all, because both of you guys do a lot of cards graded. Obviously, Alex did a whole set on graded cards. Obviously, obviously, Gary, you have a huge graded card collection, and you all, I think have a lot more knowledge than I do. I picked up this card for like $3, $1 to buy, and like $3 to ship. So I got this card for like maybe $4 and change, and I have it, and it's like this. Let me know what you think. I want y'all's opinion. It's in like it's on a WCG holder, so it's just like some fly by night, whatever. But it was labeled as a 10. And we all know some of these grading card companies, they put anything in it as a 10. So I'm not trying to say that. But where do you all, when it's a card that doesn't have if you get the card, you break the card out, and then you submit it to like PSA, do you think it's worth the hassle of doing that for some of these kind of oddball or sort of weird cards? And like, because I went online today and I didn't see any PSAs sold for this specific card in the last 2 or 3 months. So I was wondering, do you all think it's worth that kind of thing, all that kind of hassle? Or do you think it's like, yeah, you're kind of chasing your tail and it's like not really worth it? Let me show you the card.
Oh yeah, cool.
I've always loved this card of Monty Irvin.
What is the actual card though? What is the set?
It's a TCMA, I think.
Okay. All right.
And it's very much
1979
in the style of the 1953 Bowman cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was thinking I got this card for like $3. I know the card itself is probably worth $1, if that. But
is that GMA or is that PRO Pro? What is? Oh, WCG. All right. Yeah.
So the card's already loose in here. Like I could like bang it around, and of course it's loose. But do you think what's your all's opinions on getting cards that are from like these fly by night or lesser valued graded card companies, and then getting them graded by PSA? Do you think it's worth the hassle and stuff, or do you think that's just like a fool's errand?
I would say if you're going to do it, it's more because you want to do it.
That's
not because it's going to really make a difference in the long term of the card. I think a lot of people will, some people will say like, well, I really want to have this card in a PSA slab, or I really want to have this card in an SGC slab, and it's like, does it really matter? No, but it's because they prefer one of the how it looks or something like that. Or like, I know people can get down to like, well, I don't like that it's in an old PSA slab. I want it in a new PSA slab. And I'm like, wow, I never would have noticed that. Like, to me, that's not even on my radar as like something to get like obsessed with. But some people are like really particular about that. Like, no, it's got to be in the new slab. And I don't know. I think it probably depends on the card.
I was gonna say if that was a 54 Topps Hank Aaron.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, that would be like, first of all, I'd be like, I don't know if you want to buy that card.
Right, because I don't know too much about that company. I know of the PRO, the Pro, that was kind of around early, and then there was another one too, but they never really made it.
That particular one looked like it was like a local news station, honestly.
Right.
So
Suntory
times. That's Suntory times, right? Oh, KBO, baby, I was just talking about you a few minutes ago, brother. But so if I understand correctly, you guys are pretty much saying, hey, if you want to do it yourself, that's fine, but don't think you're gonna do it for like financial aspect of it, right? You're just like, if you want to do it for your own the aesthetics of it. To have it in a PSA slab because it looks good, that's great. But don't do okay. I kind of agree with that exactly, but I didn't know where you all stood on those issues.
Yeah, I guess I'm like Alex. If it's just going to be for you and you're happy with it, just keep it.
Right, because it's almost like, I think Josh even said it best. He goes, "You could just break it out and just put it in a top loader and it'd be just fine," which I agree with too. Because this is no better than a top loader, in my opinion.
Right? Are those the same size slabs as a PSA, Jace? Are they same size? Or are they?
I feel like it's probably very similar. It might be a little bit longer, I guess, or more of a width. There's more of a girth to it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But not by much. So, but yeah, I mean, that's a good. Because there's a lot of people in the community who buy cards just to turn around, break them out, and resubmit them. And that's not really that's not what I'm really looking to do here. I'm just trying to get some guidance for my own personal collection.
Yeah. Hey, Jace, we got Card Cutter in here.
I know. I see that.
I got a couple questions. No fisticuffs. Just a couple questions I'd like to ask him about the YouTube Hall of Fame.
You want me to send him the link?
Yeah, if he would, trust me, it's no trouble or anything like that.
Alex is gonna drop out any minute.
No, Alex, don't drop out.
Sorry, I'm just kidding.
Just a couple questions, of how he really thinks this should go. I got questions like how I vote because of who I watch.
You can ask him if he wants to go. If he wants me to send him the link, I will. So he obviously can hear us talking.
Card Cutter, come in and chat with us for a few minutes, partner. If you will, you don't have to, but
there's already 20-something people watching. It's going to go to like 500 in about 3 minutes. If he gets in here.
And Jason, what is NY Yanks Fan 7's name?
He's told me once about a year ago, but he's very private, and I honestly do not remember.
All right, I hate saying NY to him all the time when
Yeah. And I always hate to do that because I like calling people by the first name. So I just think he's pretty private. I mean, he's never shown his face on camera. You don't know. I mean, I feel like he's probably like some kind of mafia guy or so like in the witness protection program. Because you don't know nothing about New York Yankees Fan 7.
I know
Like,
he's a
it's one of
Yankees fan.
I know he's
It's
got
like
a
one
hell
of
of
those
a
guys
collection.
that like he tells you he has to kill you.
Yeah, I know he's got a hell of a collection. That's all I know.
Right. No kidding.
I don't know. I always try to call people by their first name, but
Yeah,
I don't
I
have
do
to.
too. Here you go. You got Pepino Man. He goes, I'll show you my privates. Yeah.
I hear you, Card Cutter partner. I'm not looking to beat you up. I just had a few questions on that to you. I guess I can ask them here. I guess because for me, I think I've told you guys, I'm a small potato. I watch small channels, so it's going to be hard for me to vote for somebody like Card Cutter because I think you're already in, but I would have never voted for you. I don't watch you. I'm not a TTM guy for one thing, but I guess I don't watch big channels, so I don't know how I would nominate those big channels to be in the Hall of Fame. So
Aside
I
from
watch,
me, don't forget.
except for Zombie now, but you know, like I said, I watch all the small potatoes, so those are the guys I'm going to have to nominate. So if there's a better way to do it, I'd love to hear it because every year we're going through this nonsense, and
that's just it. There is no way to do it.
Right. I told Stove today in a text, it's a hell of an idea. It brings everybody, gets everybody out there, but the way things have been handled with it turns it to shit.
I like the I was on a stream the other night, or I was actually wasn't on that one, but I was watching one, and there was some YouTube Hall of Fame discussion, and they just said the idea is great. I think execution has been missing something, but they went on to say like the Hobby Palooza, where it was like
Sorry.
where people sort of had a chance to like be introduced to 30 or 30 plus channels, and for that hour slot or whatever, like to kind of get a taste of what they were all about. Like if the Hall of Fame thing is about exposure to people that you may not know, then that should be what it's about, and nothing,
right.
And nothing else.
And not the kind of exposure that Pepino Man does.
Dude,
but I
don't think any of you guys are on Instagram, but Pepino posted a picture of young Pepino on Instagram today, and it was pretty legendary. Okay.
But like for me, Bob, when I first got on YouTube 4 years ago, making videos and participating and stuff like that, that DB Tiller guy, killer collection. The dude never comments back on anything. So, I hung with that channel for about 2 weeks, and that was it. So does he go in?
You're saying what's important to you there is that and
right.
You're not getting that.
Exactly.
So where do I go from here? I'm not. Now you're just like a Phil's Pools channel where I'm just watching you with no sort of like,
right. So that was my idea, and which Mike would never listen to me. But those guys, they come up with the core group of guys that they think are worthy, and then let us vote on those, on those guys. If we're wanting to have certain people, criteria being the card collection and their sub counts and that kind of stuff, then they're going to have to tell me who those guys are because I'm not watching them.
What about the idea of like if there were like 20? Okay, so there was a vote like kind of like this, and then the 20 channels that had the most votes, or 15 channels that had the most votes, then the idea was to do like a live stream and have, be a community event type of thing where, okay, these are the 15 channels. Let's do like a live vote almost right there of like, these are the guys that you get to pick from. Like, instead of making it, you can vote for anybody as long as they're card related or a year. But
right.
Hey, there's no, as Mike would say, if you got a better idea, you go do your Hall of Fame
right.
or whatever,
And like I said, you never hear me complain or do a video telling people they're voting for the wrong people. So,
yeah,
so I don't think it's the wrong way. It's just some people have in the past.
That's it.
That's it. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, it's one like Gary just like he puts all the killing in, puts the lighter in the
No.
fuel, lights it, and then walks away, and just be like, "Yeah, that's right, mother." Yeah.
I just hate when things don't get settled, and have the discussion about it. Don't just throw a video out there about it. Have a discussion about it. I mean, people, I don't know.
But this is
I
one
think-
of those things that's endlessly debatable, and I don't think there's ever going to be like a resolution where everybody's just like, yes, I sign up for that, because that's not. It's just the way people are nowadays, I guess.
Well, I mean, like,
Yeah,
if my
Amish Dave Archer, he has a point. He said Jabs and Phil's Polls and Packer Cards 87, those folks don't, yada, yada, yada. But I'll tell you what, I never knew a Packer Cards 87 until this. So if I was a football guy, I'd probably be on his channel. So he may not like it, but it probably gains him some exposure. And I'm definitely not picking a fight with Amish Dave Archer. So let me get that straight right now.
Amish Dave is a fighter.
Exactly. So,
you don't want him making. You don't want him making one of those Lake Superior videos. About
exactly.
You.
that's where you get buried, both literally and figuratively.
Right.
Yep, no part of Dave, that's for sure.
I caught that double meaning when I saw it. That's where he buries his bodies. I picked up on that.
Exactly.
So I asked this question to a group of guys last night about, and Gary, you're a PSA guy. Alex, I mean, I don't know if you are, and Jason, I know you did your recent submission. So the idea of pop reports. And so so to back up a little bit, I'm getting ready to try to send out a couple PSA submissions. I'm going to do like 2 20 to 25 card ball quarters, like staggered out. And but the cards that I pick, I think I'm going to look on what the lowest pop reports are of those cards. Like I might be sending in like 1997 Fleer Ultra, like Orlando Pace rookies, because I don't know how many of those are out there. And like, part of me is like, if I was a grader and I was looking at another Luka Doncic or another Ronald Acuna or another Juan Soto, like it's almost just like, so I'm thinking like, oh, if I send in cards that have low pop reports, there'll be something that like people don't often see. And then like, they'll almost be like more engaged and maybe in a happier mood and better grading mood. So maybe that will reflect in my grades, but
wow,
I don't know if there's anything
through, Bob. You have really thought this through.
No, I don't know if I really have or not, but I just think like, geez, and again, maybe they are. It's such a robotic thing at this point where it's like people are sending in 21 Soto rookies at a time, and it's just like they get.
Well, I was
5
always
10s
told,
and 10 9s and 5 8s. I don't know.
Right.
I was always told that you shouldn't do that, but I don't know if it matters. Because they won't give you the 10. Like if you send in 2 at a time and you get a 10 and a 9, you do that multiple times and you get 50% 10s. But if you send in 20 all at once and they give you 2 10s and 8 9s,
Right.
I don't know if that happens. I wish it wouldn't happen, but I'm sure there's some control there on the PSA 10 populations.
Hey, that's a cool card, Jason. Like usually when you see that card, that's his Bowman, his 49, and it's usually cropped, and you don't see
it again, Jay.
His full jersey.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a food issue from 1991.
Cool.
So I'm gonna get that slab to become. I'm gonna get that slab and then retire.
I'm kind of waiting on.
But those two things are not related, right?
I don't think I'm gonna submit anything to PSA for a while. Let them get. You got stuff out there or not? Bob?
I got nothing out there yet. But there'll be cards that I don't. I'm not sending in. Like Josh Allen's or anything, or cards that have to a collector that's looking to flip them. That doesn't exist anymore. I mean, I think even Right. You can't send something in and hope to get it back in a month and it still be a hot card. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to focus more on like Hall of Fame rookie cards and
like Juan Soto's. Those are kind of bouncing up again, and Fernando Tatis, I think they're bumping up again.
They are.
Absolutely. Will you sell? You probably got multiples, right? That aren't graded yet. Would you sell the ones you have now that are graded? And then
so I've sold every Ronald Acuna, Soto, any modern card that I had a double of that wasn't graded. So I sold off all my PSA stuff like that, or give it away or whatever.
Right.
Just because I knew there would be another round of it, or a couple more rounds. I mean, I was going through my Sotos and stuff the other night. And I'm like, just you can't get them all graded because I don't think I have no interest in a PSA 8 even owning it, you know. So like right. I think I would probably utilize that minimum grade thing, even though they charge you if it doesn't make the 9. But I don't think I would send a card in that I didn't think would at least get it a 9 or a 10, but I still put that minimum grade on there because I would rather have the raw modern card back than it in a PSA 8 slab. Unless if it was strictly PC, I wouldn't care, and I just wanted it slabbed up.
Well, I picked up another just an 86 Topps trade of Bo Jackson in a 9 because I'm going to sell my 10 because the 10s there back over the summer, they popped up around $400 and then they kind of settled back down again. Now they're back up over $400 for a 10. So,
wow, you got to jump on it, man.
I don't need to have a 10.
It's like the 9 is still a mint card, you know?
Right. Yeah. Can anybody actually tell me the difference between a 9 and a 10? Because every card I see Brian B. Roth 6. Brian B. Roth 6 will do his little review videos before he sends in a card, and he'll show a little ding, and it'll come back a 9. I got a ding like that. That thing's coming back a 7. I guarantee it.
I got myself a ding-a-ling.
I don't know how he's doing it, but
I get a 10 every time.
Well, he posted on Instagram like 4 Sotos that he sent in. And if you look at the serial numbers, they're all within 5 cards of each other and they all got 10s. So what we were just talking about, like sending in multiple copies of the same card in the same order, it doesn't seem to be any consistency with that. No, go ahead, Jay.
No, go ahead. It's the Bob show. Go right on ahead, dude, man.
Yeah, right. No, I subscribe to that thought of Gary earlier. Like I have 4 Jeter 93 Topps Jeter rookies that I want to send in, but I'm not going to send them all in the same order. I'll split 2 and 2.
Right.
Would that make a difference? I don't know, but in my mind, it makes sense.
Right. Didn't Eliteco 3 say that? Didn't he say not to send in? Was that from him or not?
So he talked about this. I don't know the channel, but there was a guy who sent in 50 89 King Griffey Jr. rookies, and like he just bought a case or something, and he just sent them all in and like pack pulled. Right. And you think we're all going to get 9s and 10s? Yeah, he was getting 5s and 6s, man.
Right.
It was just like so. Now, were they? I've never tried to grade that card, but I've heard it's one of those pop controlled, speculative like cards that they don't just hand out 10s on, but something with the hologram on the back, it's got to be centered and all. Yeah. I don't know. Mine's not even. Yeah, mine's not even.
Yeah, I sent in one on Mike O. It was one of his submissions, and I was feeling pretty good, and it came back a 5.
Oh man.
So that was it for me. I got a 9 and a 5, so that's it. My Griffey Upper Deck collection is over.
So that's CSG. I don't know much about it, man. I know I saw a snapshot of their slab, like what it's going to look like. It kind of, I'm not sure if I liked it at first glance, like what the label would look like. Did you guys see that picture?
I didn't even see it, Bob. Are they similar to the slabs that we already have, or are they going to be something different?
I think they're a little bit bigger, maybe more like an SGC slab, but I don't know. They just look kind of generic. But I think I don't have a reference of like what all their comics and their coin. I think that's what they're kind of known. That's the game that they're in right now. Hey, competition, that's never been bad for business usually. So.
It's pretty hard I don't know. It's pretty hard for somebody to break into that business, but maybe with their coin business.
Look at SGC.
What about them?
Yeah, I mean they've been.
They had their window of opportunity this summer and they completely failed. And their slab cards aren't even like half a PSA card. And people are willing to wait 9 months to a year, apparently, on PSA because they know that card's still going to have a much higher value than SGC, and they have a little bit of higher turnaround time. So I can't imagine.
I don't get either.
Like, how do you make sense of it? I don't know how to. I can't
agree.
explain why that is.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't get with SGC because they're the ones that do the gold label. Is that right, Bob? They do.
Yeah.
Well, is that just a lottery that every once in a while they throw out a gold label or what?
It's like that BGS black label. It's like that pristine card. I'm not sure.
So it's higher than a 10.
It's higher than a 10. Yes.
I mean,
it's 11.
That's the only hashtag BLM I'm okay with. Black labels matter. That's what I want.
Yeah. I heard. I heard Gem Mint, like Beckett 9.5 true Gem Mints are like selling for less than half of PSA 10s, or about half of PSA 10s. Like now at this point. So is Beckett like? Are they done? I mean, why would anybody send them to Beckett at this point? I don't understand that. If you're not. I mean, if you're
not
just
even Beckett employees are sending to Beckett.
Right, James Beckett don't even send to Beckett.
Right, James Beckett from the grave. He doesn't send.
No.
Send a PSA.
He's still alive, Jace. He's still alive.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to kill nobody.
I follow him on YouTube, man.
He died. I didn't know he died.
I'm trying to kill people off. Sorry about that, Dr. James Beckett.
Yeah, he might actually be in the chat right now.
Right, he's probably watching.
He probably is, man.
Yeah, he's like that guy. Game over. So yeah.
You just lost a subscriber.
I know. Well, it won't be the first time, I'm sure, tonight. So.
I think he actually was going to do a Hall of Fame ballot, but I'm not sure now.
Yeah.
He's going to do one vote. It was going to be me, and then I ruined it.
You just screwed yourself.
Oh, my gosh. That cracks me up. So.
But I don't think he has anything to do with Beckett anymore. He sold out.
Yeah, I think he just picks up a paycheck.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the history of that? I never bothered to look up that story of like why he started that or like what prompted all that, like the initiation of the Beckett price guide.
What was it? 82, Bob? Was that the first year?
The Clement? I don't remember.
They did a remake, They did a reissue of the first issue.
Was that was number 50, I think, is the one that I had. Because Clemente was on the first Beckett?
I think Clemente was on that first. Man, there's probably somebody knows better than I do, but I swear that he was on the first one. I can't remember if that was 82 or if that was too early.
I'm not sure.
Where's Snoop at? Is Snoop still in here or did he already?
Jesse has it.
Oh, 84. All right, Jesse. Yeah, 84. It's Roberto, right? Roberto Clemente?
Look at Jesse coming in like a game.
Jesse, you'll have to show that, Jesse, on one of your videos because that's pretty cool. The original.
It's like it's paper though. I thought it was like a paper guide.
Came in the 80s, yeah, okay. Yeah, it was real thin, I guess, Bob.
Man,
If he was ever on the card. I used to have. I don't know if you guys remember, but they did the Future Stars Beckett. I used to get that. I used to get the basketball, the Future Stars, which was minor league baseball stuff. Basically, I can't remember if it had hockey and stuff in it or not.
Oh, it did. I had the Future Stars because that's where all like the classic draft picks.
Yeah, the 4 sports and all that kind of stuff. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is a good question from Sean.
Man, I don't know. They'd be pretty easy probably to kill Beckett. I mean,
I think Beckett's hanging on by a thread of prayer or whatever.
I mean, eBay is my price guide. I mean,
that's what I was saying.
Exactly. It is. Yeah.
Just because it's not in print form. I mean, completed sales comp, like that's where I go to now.
I just get the Beckett so I can stay in front of you guys, so I know who's on the hot list.
Is Bo Jackson still on there?
No, I just read my Beckett for the articles.
You read it for the articles, like your old girly mags.
Yeah. I don't know. The answer.
On the hot list, I put them above my ceilings. Every night I can look at them.
George Buss asked a pretty good question, and I've actually bought from Dean's Card, and they're not always right, George. So it's a good attempt, but they're not always on the money. So
I always liked when Bo Jackson was on the hot list and the cold list. Usually with Jose Canseco.
I've seen that before. Yep.
Jose Canseco was usually on the hot and cold list.
Back in those days, it seemed like all those guys could make both lists. Ricky Henderson.
I agree with Sean on this one.
Yes, more articles would be nice, for sure.
Yeah, and more like full colored spreads when you can open up and there's a poster in it.
Yeah.
Or like the things that we like hearing. I like hearing stories about you and and like hobby stories, real life stories. Like bring more of that in so people have something to kind of relate to instead of, I don't know, like some market report. Who needs another market report?
That's
the
price guide. That's articles. So
it should be the other way around. So.
And they've cut, man. That used to tick me off when I'd get my Beckett and I'd look up something and they just no longer listed that set or that insert set or whatever. I'm like how do they decide what gets put in and what doesn't? I don't know.
Jace, how many thumbs up we got?
I don't see it. I don't know if I can see it on here.
Alex,
I'm sure we got.
I cannot see it, but I would assume we have like 50 thumbs down.
Let me take a look real quick.
Yeah, because I live and die by the thumbs up and thumbs down.
All right, we got 12. We've got 12. If we can get one more thumbs up, I will give everybody the number 6 guy on the hot list.
That's a Jerome Walton from 1989.
We've got it. All right, we've got it. Louis Robert.
I'm gonna guess Bo Bichette.
No, Louis Robert. Yep, his Topps Chrome went from 11 last issue to 6 this time.
All right, then what do they got to do to get a card?
What do you got? I'm a little short on Louis Robert Topps Chrome's card, Bob. How many of those you got?
all the packs I got. I never pulled one. I had to buy it.
Really?
I had to buy it solo for my set. Yep. I think, and actually, I was thinking I had to buy the Rosarina too, but I ended up finding that one in a short stack. So, that guy meant nothing to me, 6 months ago, and now all of a sudden he's somebody. I'm glad that all got worked out too, because he seemed like such a cool player, like in a hot talent.
Stove started that rumor. He knew I had his autograph. I pulled his autograph,
Right.
He was trying to crush my dreams, man.
Mm-hmm. Should have sold that a week before. No, he'll be back. I don't know how the Rays are going to do without Morton and Snell, though, but I trust the process.
Ooh, Eloy Camo.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Wow. Got that for $1. I'd
We
buy
gotta
that for
give-
$1.
We got to give stuff away to stay in the game, or what?
I
Well,
hope not. I'm running out
I
of
hope
stuff
not
to give away.
because I haven't started. I ain't about to start now. So I'm waiting to
have
get
to-
to 1,000 subs. I gotta get to 1,000 subs because I'm gonna put like 4 commercials in every one of my videos, even if it's like 1 minute long.
I had
I'm
to
gonna
call
do-
Phil Minton out one time. Schmuck. I was watching a video of his, and it was a commercial every 2 minutes. He said he could fix it, so he fixed it. But I can't watch that stuff. That drives me nuts.
Yeah, I bust Mark from Kentucky's balls all the time because like he does that all the time. I'm like, dude, I cannot stand your channel anymore because you really have like 4 or 5 commercials in your videos. I'm like, are you serious, dude? Like, come on, man.
They must be
Like-
able to control that, right? Where they place them?
I would think
Yeah,
so.
you can. No, I think you can because
You see them all the time.
He was putting them at the very end, like he was like tagging them all the way to like the last couple
Yeah.
minutes.
Because you'll see guys that are doing big breaks, and they'll go right to a commercial before they pull the big card.
Yeah.
Right.
Drives me nuts.
Right. And that's when I go and punch them in their nuts. And I'm like, hey.
That's when I unsubscribe and get out of it.
Right. Now I went the other way and I just said, screw this. I'm buying into YouTube $17 a month and I don't have to watch commercials or anything because I watch a whole lot more stuff than just card stuff on YouTube.
Oh,
I don't think I watch regular TV anymore at all, basically, unless I'm at a hotel. But
I can't watch regular TV anymore.
yeah.
Oh my God. We got talking about YouTube Hall of Fame legends. Boom. Whoa now.
Did Nate get his vote out yet?
I'm still waiting, Nate. I'm still
Well,
waiting.
I haven't seen any. Like Mike O hasn't done his yet. I don't think.
Yeah, none of the YouTube Hall of Fame movers and shakers have done it yet. They're holding out because Mike has them all in his back pocket to make sure they make a big push for everybody but me.
Like I said, I'm just waiting to see where my votes are needed.
Oh, nice. I hope that's what Nate's gonna do because if not, I'll never do a Japanese translation again, Nate.
I don't know, Nate. You go in the first year, I think. Now, there's a couple of guys on there that I don't think would go in on the first ballot, but I think you still would have held on in the first ballot or first year for sure.
Nate's a 2-time one, right?
Yes, he is. I wish we could get some more baseball card junkies TV going.
He's like X-Pac from WWF back in the day. You know, he's an NWO, the D-Generation X, and then he's gonna go in as on his own. And I'm like, that's like Nate.
No,
I heard
like,
they signed Oakland A's 915, and there was some confusion. Now he owns half the channel, so there's a dispute going on.
So
we haven't seen
what's gonna happen is Nate's gonna go on to bench clear. So next year he'll get his 3-peat right there.
There you go.
So he'll have so many patches he won't even know what to do with them. He'll just spin them around like that. So yeah. Oh my gosh. So, but yeah, I mean, I think moving forward, if you all see the prices for wax right now, and you know, there's not a lot of movement for a lot of the, sports. I don't think, at least with baseball, but they're already releasing prices, and it's like crazy.
Yeah, you usually get some Series 1 tops, don't you? What's a pre-sale going for like jumbo Series 1?
That's not very expensive. That's like $120
for a jumbo box of Series 1.
Oh
box?
no, not jumbo, just a regular hobby box. I don't know. I haven't checked, Bob. I haven't done my pre-order yet.
But I mean,
Yeah,
in the years, before things got crazy, wasn't a regular box of tops like about $80?
Let me look it up, Bob.
I think you could still buy 2019 Series 1 for like 100. Yeah, it's got like Kyle Tucker and Ramon Laureano and Michael Kopech in it.
Yeah, like who wants those losers though?
Sorry, I heard that.
Bob's gonna go back and reference this video in a year and be like, "So about those losers, Jason."
Kyle Tucker looks pretty good to me. I mean, like I'll take
a jumbo's 234, and actually the hobby's up. It's 139 now.
Okay.
So,
but you get three autos in a jumbo, or
in a jumbo. Yeah, I think that's 10 packs, 46 cards per pack.
2 autos, or I don't know. Not that I'm chasing Topps base autos. Jumbos just seem like they always had something a little extra. Didn't jumbos last year have gold foils or something?
Yeah, I usually don't buy jumbo at the top. I buy jumbo of the Bowman draft though.
Hey, I got a pack of I got one of those super jumbos of
oh yeah, those are nice, man.
Like,
huge,
yeah, they're like 100 or like I don't know, man, they're crazy.
120, right? 120 cards,
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna open it, but I'm just gonna
you just got one pack?
Yeah, my dad bought one pack and gave it to me for Christmas. I was like,
did he go to a card shop for that? Right?
Yeah, I think it was like $100 a pack. Or something.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Not cheap.
Because those Bowman drafts are like.
I remember a video like a few months back where it was. I don't know if it was like your card room or somewhere in your house, but it was like a sea of cards that like and were like still boxes that you hadn't opened.
Oh yeah, yes.
How much of that have you gotten through?
So all of that has been open. All of the 2018 stuff and 2019 stuff and all the Topps 2020 Series 1 stuff. Like we opened all of that. And I'm thankful we did. Like we would so first of all, we would never sell unopened wax. Like that's me and my dad. We don't sell packs. We don't give away packs because we like to open packs. Like we don't have a whole big unopened wax collection because we would never.
That's why you're all Packer fans because you like packs.
It's just that like what's in there, that could be ours. It was So and in those packs we did get the rainbow foil Juan Soto update, short print Acuna. So like out of updates, so those would have been like cards that would have been somewhere else or just sitting in the box, never to have been open. Having said that, I do have he did get. We had 3 jumbo boxes of 2020 Bowman. We opened 2. Out of that second one, the Dominguez was burst. So we're not going to open the third one, but like we're definitely not going to sell the box either. It just kind of like becomes a commodity at that point. I don't know. Do I wish I still had some 2018 Topps Chrome update mega boxes sealed? Yeah, probably. Or 2020 update Topps blasters? Yeah. But I'm happy we open. I have no regrets either, I don't know though. Sealed wax is kind of
no regrets.
It's been a trouble. It's just been a thing for me. Like it's supposed to be open. I don't know.
Bob, did you open that basketball yet?
So no, because
you pulled something big, didn't you? You don't want to tell me about it.
No. I opened 4 hanger boxes. The best card I've gotten so far is a Rui Hachimura purple disco purple disco prism.
Somebody said those are tough. It's tough, like pulling the Zion and stuff like that.
I haven't pulled one Zion. I haven't pulled a Jaw. The best base rookie I got was probably Kendrick Nunn or RJ Barrett. I did get there's like a subset in there of the rookies. There's a guy named Kobe White for the Bulls. I did get a silver prism of his subset card. So some nice, and it's just fun stuff to open. But basketball, modern basketball, I'll be completely honest. It's stuff that I'm selling, to try to like that. There's a guy named Christian Wood for the 76ers right now. I think he's pretty hot, right? Well, first couple days, like his Donruss rookie, I wasn't even like looking at, and then all of a sudden I see it selling for $60-65. I found one, I sold it. I haven't looked it up yet. So like that's something I've learned not to do. Look up cards that I've already sold and see what they're selling for now.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Don't do that. Especially in basketball.
That night you would have answered my call, man. I could have scooped you 30 boxes of that stuff.
It's all good, man. I'm very thankful for what I did get. So, and I think it's hilarious that you went when you went back. There was the other guy there who was like, I called my friend too because I didn't know. Like it's like you got guys there and they just know there might be something there, but maybe they don't know immediately, so they gotta call somebody. And my dad's like, tell him next time, just buy it all. And we'll pay him later. Don't even bother trying to ask.
That sounds like Mr. Lewis.
Yeah. Wait, what was that last comment from Dave? What was that comment from Dave? He said Christian Wood's on the Rockets now? Maybe that's Oh, so he's in the Sixers uniform on his rookie card, but I didn't know.
I don't know. I got to tell you just real quick, Mr. Lewis, when we went to their local card shop, I might have said this before, but this is worth repeating again. So his dad is just sitting in there with his cane, like at one of these tables, just like a mafia boss, just sitting back. And he has all the guys there going to get him stuff. He's not even getting up. He's like, go get me this and go get me that. So when we were there last year together, Bob and I were coming in a little bit behind him. He was there before us. So we get there, and then they had just released Topps Opening Day 2020. And Bob's dad goes, Mr. Lewis goes, how much are those boxes? And they're like $35 for a hobby box or something. And his dad goes, I think we can do better than that. And they're like, all right, we'll do 30. And he just sitting there. He's just like, hey, we can do better than that, right, guys? And they're like, we can do 30. All right, give him 30 like that. So I'll never forget that. He just throws it out there. They're gonna do. It's not like he's asking. He's like, you can do better than that. It's like implied it's gonna be better. And and I just was like, yeah, we'll do 30 for those boxes. And then he's like, all right, you got a deal. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need Mr. Lewis to go with me anytime I need to do any wheeling and dealing. That was pretty hilarious.
They know he's got deep pockets, even if they're made up in his head. They're not that deep. But certain times of the month when those checks come in, they're deep for a few days, and then they dry up quickly. But he's of the mindset he's like, I'm 70, I'm going to be 73 this year. What am I can't take any of this money with me. He's like, yes, the granddaughters come first, all that stuff, but I enjoy this hobby stuff with my son still. He devotes some resources to it. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I know. I tried to ask him to adopt me last year. He wouldn't do it. He said, I don't know about that, Jason. I'm like, come on, sir. I'm like,
good time.
I'm like, all right, man. Well, if you're ever looking, give me a call.
That's what I said. Once Luka graduates, man, you'll be moving in.
I know. I'm moving up. I know. It could happen. You never know. I'm moving in with you. You have your creepy uncle Jason living in your basement. Oh man. So, hey Alex, let me ask you this. So it's funny because I literally had asked you 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe a little longer, have you been picking up anything new? And you said no. And then 5 days later, you show a Willie Mays 1954. So do you have anything else on the docket that you're looking at? Or you already purchased? Or are you just gonna, do some Evel Knievel or some whatever, just make a big spectacle after saying no, there's nothing coming?
Well, I probably what happened is after we had that conversation, the next day that Mays popped up, and now if you see that card and it's, you've been looking at that card and a good deal when you see it, it's like, okay, I got to get it, right? There's no well, I'll kind of sit on it. Especially now, it's if you see a good deal, you jump. And so I think I jumped on that card the day after, and surprisingly the shipping was fast. So it's boom, I've got it. So I'm always looking at stuff, but like now it's like, people have been making these like, goals for 2021. And I would love to say, I want to get this card, that card, and the other card. But the reality for me right now is I got to go after the cards that pop up that I want, that are a good deal. And it may not be the card that I am most excited to get or whatever, but if I want it ultimately for my collection, then I got to go for it.
It's on your list. It might not be top 3 or top 5, but it's on your list. And
it's not like I don't want the card. It's not like I'm not excited that I got that Willie Mays card. That's awesome, but it's like opportunistic right now, just because the prices are just nuts.
Man.
So let me ask you all this. I mean, I know I've mentioned this, and I'll mention it 100 more times, I'm sure, throughout, the year or whatever. Everybody was talking about how modern cards had no ceiling, right? And it's still the case. Like, it's still, obviously there's no ceiling yet. They're continuing to break through every week, month, whatever. And then people are like, oh, vintage is going to even back out, and it might even go down some. Well, we know that's not the case right now either. So what is your strategy looking for cards, really? Either maybe modern or vintage. I mean, I know Bob's a little bit of both. You obviously, Alex, will do mostly just vintage without a doubt. So, I mean, what are your all strategies? Because, like you said, I mean, I guess you just can wait in the wings, like you were saying, and then pounce when you get the opportunity. But is there any other strategies than that? Because I feel like every time I'm trying, like I'm always outbid in the 11th hour, or I don't know where to look, or how would you say?
Oh man, what a depressing topic. I mean, like strategy. I don't know. I mean, I wish I could have a strategy. For me, it's like I've got a cards, like a list of cards that I know I want, and some of them, if I stopped and thought about them, are probably off my list because they're astronomically too expensive at this point. Like they were already expensive a couple of years ago, and now it's like buying a house or something ridiculous. So it's like, okay, that's not happening. And I'm just going to ignore those cards. And so now it's like, if I'm lucky, I can find low grade stuff, 1s and 2s and 3s. And, if they look great, awesome. But if they don't, well, as long as I'm cool with the card, I'll go for it. And honestly, like I used to really care, and I still do. Like everybody wants their cards to look nice or whatever. And it's fun trying, like it's really hard, but it's fun trying to go for the low end stuff and have it still look nice. But at the same time, there's all kinds of problems with that. First of all, it's pretty hard to be patient for that kind of stuff. Second of all, I would say, I personally feel like we've been conditioned to think that a baseball card has to look perfect, which is actually kind of ridiculous, just to be perfectly honest. I understand why modern cards look nice. It's because basically people are opening them up with like gloves and like handling them.
Right. Or John Mangini, he just has the one glove.
And like you want a 9, you want a 10, right? But like nobody was doing that in 1950. So like to have a card that looks like it just came out of the factory is, those cards are rare. And there's something cool about a card that looks like crap, from that time period. It's like it should, right? It's like 60 years old or whatever. So, and also on top of that, like you have a little bit more assurance that that card has not been messed with, like it hasn't been doctored, or like, somebody didn't try to turn it into a 6 or a 7 so they could get a little bit of extra cash. And, so there is some benefit, I think, to going after the low end stuff. I definitely had to like realize, okay, if I want these cards, I'm going to have to look in that range because it's like not going to happen. Not going to happen otherwise.
The Power Glove. I just have to comment on this. So I'm in the hotel and I don't have TV at home, and The Wizard was on yesterday. HBO Family. Do you know The Wizard? You know the movie The Wizard? Lucas.
Without a doubt, I saw it in the theater.
It's so bad,
Yeah.
So here's my strategy. So kind of like thinking I have some understanding of like the way a section of the collectors out there think today, like, you know, it's like that Ian Happ example from the beginning of last year. Like, he had a hot start, so his like PSA 10 rookies were like $80 or whatever, but they were $20 the week before. So who had down years last year that are good players? You know, those are the guys that I like: Christian Yelich, Gleyber Torres, Austin Meadows. Like, those guys, all their markets are down, but they're all good players. So like, if you believe in the player, or you like the player, or you think there's potential there, like those. I have an 18 Topps Update Gleyber Torres gold card, right? That was selling for like $250 raw at one point. It's like $70 now. His short print from Series 2, that rookie, it's way down from like where it was. And if he comes out hot, like, you know, those cards, I mean, knowing what happens when a guy has a good game, geez, it's crazy now that's like how quickly markets fluctuate. I still don't know if I'll ever get used to that.
So let me ask you this and piggyback off what Bob said, because you bring up a good point, is that, you know, the internet and the videos, I'm sorry, not videos, the internet and like TV, radio, whatever, this isn't a newfangled thing. It's been around for a while. Why all of a sudden when some player has a breakout game, or you know, a string of games, or a couple of weeks or whatever, whereas before those spikes would never happen like that, but now all of a sudden it's like going out of control. It's the same thing's been going on for years. It's just not like this is all of a sudden happened in 2020 that Juan Soto blows up and then his cards go from 80 to 200. I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, you know, that was nowhere near the same thing, and you could have picked whoever, like, you know, Alex Bregman or whatever. You see a little bit of an uptick.
That's it.
But it wasn't like crazy.
$20 maybe. It'd go up like $15-20.
Right.
Not hundreds, not $50 to $100.
So
it's got to be.
It's
got to be because we can take advantage of it in a really short amount of time, right? Like, the technology allows you to pivot and make an opportunity out of it. And so it's like, okay, how long is this going to last? Is it going to last a week or a month? It's like, you can do a lot, you know, through the internet in a week's time or a month's time to push product around or cards around and like take advantage of somebody's hot streak. And people want to, because they can benefit from it too. So it's got to be that, right? And I don't even do this, so I'm just guessing, but
yeah. And what's that one dude? What's that one guy's name that's real big in the Twitter and stuff?
Filmington?
Yeah. Hey, Will can move some markets now. He can move some markets. I don't know. What's that?
Gary V.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. I think he pushes some stuff. But Nate's right. Social media, man.
That's just a slippery slope of, like, you know, integrity, and like, are you gaining a position in a guy and then hyping it, or are you like, is it happening genuinely? Like, you believe in this guy, you happen to mention him or whatever, like, and then you dump your position, like, or are you holding on to it? You're like, who knows? I don't know how all that's playing out. So because there's this like great, I can't even dip my toe in that whole scene at all. So I'm not selling anything anymore right now. I'm not buying a whole lot right now. I'm kind of like going to build my collection back up and get some stuff graded. I know it'll be a year or two before it's all kind of like back where I want, but I'm okay with just kind of like, okay, let me sort of like fine tune my own collection here. And that's not to say I won't make a sale here or there or buy something here or there, but I'm not gonna, because markets are exploding, I don't think I'm gonna jump on it, because I've done that before and then it just continues to explode.
Right.
There's a Kobe card that I sold for $350 2 years ago. That's $13,000 now. So,
well, you know, of course I'm going to say this, but like, that's why I like collecting vintage because there's some certainty in it. And, Rick said this earlier in the chat, like, iconic players, iconic cards, you're not going to be disappointed in the long run. There's a proven track record there.
Yep.
And, you're not riding some wave where you're going to, end up regretting it in a week or a month or something like that.
That's well said, man. Hall of cards that I have of proven stars, retired stars, Hall of Fame stars, rookie cards. That's like, I think I said it earlier, like James Ferrier, who was just an above average linebacker for the Steelers, drafted by the Jets. Like, I've got some of his rookie cards. Can't imagine there's too many of them graded out there. And I might, if I have one that I think's a 10, I'm going to send it in and, just kind of have it. I think, man, it's so easy to say, like, I'm not going to get sucked up into the here and now and who's hot this month and this week or today. But it is kind of fun too. Like, I don't know how I like to watch it and observe it, but
yeah,
I get too stressed out if I'm like in it. You know what I mean? Like, I like to like
a legit YouTuber here. Hey, Bob,
and it's fun too, though. Like if you're into baseball, like that you follow your teams or you follow like big players, like it's part of the fun of like being a baseball fan and like seeing how it affects baseball cards too. But like for me, like I like vintage and everything else, but I think maybe it's also because I'm too lazy. Like I'm too lazy to try to keep up with like I'm like, oh, it's this guy, and then I'm gonna get burned. It's because I'm not quick enough to realize what's happening. Like I can't do it. Can't keep up with it.
Bob, what was your last actual vintage card that you bought?
Oh, let's see.
Aaron Judge.
Nah, probably was the 64 Clemente.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
just casually that one.
I mean, I don't buy much
Like
vintage
the
other than
64
him.
Clemente, no big deal.
It's a raw card, so, but
64 Clemente, that's all.
but Alex, you were saying like, okay, so like the Pirates right now, Brian Hayes,
Suck.
man, I think he's going to be good. Like the small sample size that we had last year, and then everything that I've heard from people that know baseball say, there's something potentially there, and it's fun to think about. So like, okay, so I've got his first Bowman Chrome Auto, ungraded raw card. I look forward to collecting his rookies in Topps 2021 this year, but like, I'm not going all in on the guy, but I'll collect him from packs that I open and maybe
we got to sit on him, Bob, and wait for him to get traded to the Rays, and then we know he's good.
Dude, that's gonna happen. It's so sad, man. But like local sports talk radio, when they're looking at, because they're making news right now, they're planning for 2 or 3 years out. I think they're doing the Rays approach, like just this, like load up your farm system, always having prospects in, focus on
so
pitching.
they can trade away later.
But the Rays got rid of. They've traded away 5 or 6 number one starting pitchers in the last decade, and they've also had like 90-win seasons, like 6 out of the last 10 years. So they're able. It can be done. The Pirates just suck at it to this point. So I feel like look at the A's and look at the Rays. Figure out what they're doing right and try to copy it. So yeah, bye Josh Bill. Believe me, Sherrington's not done. I say Adam Frazier's next to go. Like you don't need, and Eric Gonzalez. You don't need 2 29-year-old middle infielders when you got Cole Tucker and Kevin Newman. So now I'm just like being all Pirate nerdy, but I'm excited for the long-term deal. I like the idea of just blowing it up and kind of starting fresh. I mean, give me something to kind of look forward to.
I mean, if you think they get going, I mean, do you see long hair afros and like, mustaches back if they get going like that?
We are family.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would be a Pirates fan if that was the case.
I mean, the '70s Pirates. There's two sides of that coin. So.
Right. Yeah.
There's a whole lot. There's a party side to that too.
But hey, that's entertaining too. Like that would have been a fun.
Yeah, right.
Guys, I gotta tap out.
All right, Gary.
Thanks for having me. We'll talk to you guys later. See you, everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye. All right, now let's talk about Gary behind his back. So
yeah,
Gary, he done messed up leaving. All right, so let me ask you this. So I know this is almost not qualifying Alex even into the conversation, which I feel bad, but I'm sure you can still chime in. But are you going to, Bob, with the way things are heading already with like the NFL wax, the NBA wax is getting crazy. You know, baseball's been kind of on a little bit of a hiatus, obviously, but you know, next month will be opening day and then series 1 not right behind it, correct?
Yeah, I'm getting a text from the wifey saying can I talk real quick? But go ahead. I'll finish.
But what is series 1's coming out in February, right?
February,
and then opening day's right behind it.
That's how it works.
So do you see yourself? Do you think you're going to be seeing that product going through the roof because it's going to be the new? There's probably going to be so many prospects in there, rookie cards, because they didn't have much last year. I mean,
yeah, I do.
You think that are we going to see a repeat of 2020?
I think isn't Joe Adele like he's been pumped as like the guy that's going to lead the product already,
right?
And yeah, I mean, I have no reason not to think that sort of hype train is just going to keep on moving. Topps Series 1 has never been so popular. I'll bet.
So let me ask you, Alex, you're like deceptive. Okay, you're very deceptive in your collecting because you'll say you're buying vintage only, and then all of a sudden you end up going and like on streaks where you'll like incognito buy wax off the shelf, and I know you do that in the last couple of years because you send me stuff, so I know you do it.
Yeah.
So, do you see any value in it right now? Doing it to help maybe if you like hit some major cards that you do try to flip them and like buy vintage or anything?
I don't collect that stuff. Like I don't collect it. Like what I do is I'm at Target and like now this is going to sound like the old days, which was really like a couple of years ago. But like I would be at Target and I'd be like, hey, there's some baseball cards, I'll buy some and I'll bring them home and I'll open it up just for fun. And I'll be like, hey, some Pirates cards, I'll put those aside for Bob, and some Reds cards, I'll put those aside for Jason. Like literally that's what I was doing. I wasn't collecting anything. I didn't keep it. And
man.
I was like honestly, that's all I was doing. It was just fun to open up the product. It was like kind of relaxing, and I liked kind of sorting them and sending them off to people. But now I can't do that anymore.
It was like therapy for you.
Yeah, it was like I enjoyed opening it up and reminded me of like opening up packs when I was a kid, and and those days seem like they're gone now because I don't even look anymore. Like it's like what's the point? So like legitimately, that's what I was doing. I wasn't like trying to, find anything or sell anything. It was like really just for the pure fun of looking at what was in there, and whoosh, that's gone.
It's gone. So in your opinion, I don't know. I guess you can opt not to answer the question, I guess. But what, with you looking at vintage so much, and I mean, like you said, you look on eBay every day, I'm assuming, or on a pretty regular basis, you like see what's out there. Yeah. Is there anything that you've noticed that is surprisingly undervalued vintage wise, either a player, a set, a type of card, a type of release that you're kind of surprised it hasn't really taken off?
I mean, I'd have to look, but basically what I do is I've got like a list of cards that I'm after, I've got them all like as saved searches. So I'm just looking at those lists like all the time. And when there's like a new batch of auctions that go up, I'll look at the new batch. And what I'll do is I'll like put the ones I'm interested in into my watch.
It's gonna be okay for tomorrow morning.
And eventually I'll kind of revisit those and look at them again, and then I'll kind of look at them in more detail and decide, okay, do I actually want that one or not? And so I don't know, like, to answer your question, like, I don't know if I'm looking at a card where I'm like, wow, I'm so surprised that this card hasn't been, blowing through the roof in terms of price. But what I will see is like maybe somebody fucked up, pardon my French, in the way they priced a card. Like somebody didn't realize that maybe they didn't do their homework. They didn't look at to see the comparable prices on eBay. Like some of the cards I got recently, like to me they were steals because they looked much nicer than the grade they were given, and the people that were pricing them were pricing them based on the grade. But people will pay more if the card looks really good. So it's like this anomaly that people won't pay attention to. I know that I've seen that happen. So anyway, I don't know if like there's a specific card out there that I'd be like, wow, I'm so surprised that that's not gone up in price. But grading, I think, has created a situation where cards might be a 2 or a 3, but they actually look like a 6 or 7. So,
I mean, what I've noticed is, and I mean, with my limited ability to buy older vintage cards at a decent clip or whatever, I think you're right. Like I've noticed I've gotten pretty lucky. This is not some sort of like secret or a peek behind the curtain. It's just kind of like people's been saying it for a while, but misspellings of certain players' names has helped me a lot, especially with Japanese players, because they screw that up all the time. So, it helps me a whole lot when I do that. But, the thing is like what Nate said, and a lot of people agree, and I know you're one of those people too, Alex, you buy the card, not the grade, and that's the biggest thing. Like I think I showed you my Monty Irvin, 51 Topps.
Yeah. Awesome.
It was like it was a 4 and it looks fantastic. Like I feel like it was pulled out of a pack yesterday.
Right.
And I got a Frank Robinson's like a 3.5. His 59 All-Star card.
Spending time looking at that card, like some of the cards that I end up getting, like people will be like, "Wow, I didn't realize that you wanted that card." And it's like, yeah, I've been looking at that card for like 2 years. I've been looking at it on eBay like literally every day, and you see that card come up again and again. And over time, you start to get to know that card, like the weird problems that card has, and what the price range is. And you also start to kind of figure out, okay, what do I care about with this card? Do I care about centering with this card? Do I care about registration or whatever it is, based on what you see happening with that card on average? And then with all that kind of homework that you do, a good deal when you see one. So it's like, holy crap, that card looks fantastic, and I think it's a steal compared to what I'm seeing. So it's like jump, right? And that takes a lot of time and patience, but it's really rewarding when you find the card. It's like that to me is like part of fun. It's like it's not just that I got the card, it's like I'm damn proud of the card I found,
Yeah. So everybody has that one thing when they're buying like either a card, maybe raw or in a slab, that it's like a no-go. Some people say it's the corner. Some people say it's centering. Some people say it's registration. That kind of people talk about creases, blah, blah, blah. Is there anything for you? Because obviously you built a whole set doing this, and then you've bought multiple cards pre and post the set. Is there something that you just can't, no matter how quote unquote good the card looks, is there something that you just have to it's a hard pass for you on, no matter how everything else might line up perfectly for you, but that one thing you're like, I just can't do it for that? It's
the centering. Yeah. And I wish I could let go of it because it's stupid. Like it's a stupid thing to worry about, I think, because especially vintage cards, it's like they were not, the quality control in terms of how they were made is nowhere near what they're like now. So it's kind of, you're like shooting yourself in the foot when you care about stuff like that. But I can't help it. It's like it bothers me. So it's centering, yeah. But everybody has their thing, So for some people, it's corner. But honestly, I think part of the fun of it is like you come up with these parameters for yourself. You decide this matters, and it doesn't, but you decide that it does.
Sure.
So that when you find that card, it's like, okay, it worked. Like I got it. It took me like 6 months, but I found it. So it pays off in the end.
So let me ask you this. Like, I know you kind of talked to me about this a little bit before, and you had told me, like, when you were doing your 53 Bowman set, you could have bought the Pee Wee Reese early on, but you wanted that to be your last card that you bought because it is probably, if not the most iconic card in that set, there's a strong argument to be the best iconic card in the entire, history of baseball cards. So
yeah,
when you're looking for that card, when did you know that you found the card that was perfect for you? Because that card shows up all the time. So there's never a lack of that card available. So what was for you, like you had to go hard on that card? What was like the, your litmus test that it had to pass these certain things? That card you have is beautiful.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. You should do this for a living. You should be paid for this. Seriously, it's a good question. The funny thing, like you're saying that, I'm realizing I don't know. Like, I definitely remember getting the card. I definitely remember being excited about it. But I don't know that I was more like that I scrutinized it more than I did any other card.
Okay.
So with the Pee Wee Reese card, there's a lot of first of all, like a lot of cards in that set, centering is a problem. Another problem with that is there's like a lot of like ink splatters on it. A lot of times you'll have like little black dots and stuff. You'll have like weird paper loss problems. So all I knew is I wanted a card where the image of Pee Wee didn't have any major imperfections that kind of, like, to me, when you look at that card, it looks like it could be a painting. And like, actually, I don't know if he's into it, but Jeremy TTM, he has like a painting. I'm not sure who did it, or I don't know if he did it or he knew somebody anyway, but like, it looks like a painting. Like the actual card looks like a painting. And it's like, I want a card, like a version of that card that just, I can just enjoy the image, So I think that was pretty much all I was looking for.
To piggyback off that, then, you obviously talked, the Pee Wee Reese 53 was probably the most important card for you to get. You held off to the end to get that card. We already talked about it. Could have been a card. That could have been the first card you bought, but you held off on it. So when you have all the cards, you've done a tabletop showcase already at least once or twice. I've seen videos because it's you've been asked to do it, or you've done it for like a contest or whatever.
Right.
Out of the obvious cards that people would, of course, talk about, like the Mickey Mantles or the Yogi Bears, the Phil Rizzutos or whatever, what is one card you think it gets overlooked the most from that set that looks like the most, for you, the most beautiful, the most like nostalgic? Like, what's the best card, the best picture? What card do you think gets overlooked in that set?
See, that's the thing, is like, as much as I love that set, it's not overlooked. Like I kind of did it to death on YouTube, and everybody knows about that set and like appreciates that set. So I don't feel like there's any card in that set that's like underappreciated. But
okay,
I would say like some of my favorite ones would be like the Stan Musial. Like, I think that's Stan Musial's best looking card. I mean, honestly, I think like anybody who's in that set, it's probably their best looking card, or it's one of their best looking cards. Duke Snider, like that card, to me, like, if you had pictures in the dictionary of a baseball card, if it's not the Pee Wee Reese, it's that Duke Snider card. Like, it's like, what does the baseball card look like? It looks like the 53 Bowman color Duke Snider. Like, it's just, so cool. It's such a great card. I mean, but there's a lot of them. And you know what's weird is like I have not looked at that set in a while. It's like it's in a box. But that's kind of the fun of collecting, I think, is because you have stuff and then you bring it out and you enjoy it all over again, later on.
So, okay. Well, then let me ask you this then, since you poo-pooed on that question. Let me reiterate it. Let me look at it from a different perspective then. So out of the players from that, because we know Bowman didn't have contracts with some of those players. Some of the players were in the middle of a war. They were they were in the Korean War or whatever. Who's a player that you would like to see been in that wasn't?
Yeah, I mean there's a classic list of guys that are not in there. Robinson isn't in there. Ted Williams isn't in there. Who else is not in there? Willie Mays isn't in there. So there's like big names that are missing. And it's it's that classic like what if. I think a lot of people say if those guys had been in there, it would be the undisputed king of sets. Yeah. But I still think it's like, I'm sorry, but I think it's better than the 53 tops. Like, that's just my personal opinion. But the 53 top has, it has Mays. I don't know. It's debatable. So, Jason, let me ask you a question. All right?
Oh, man.
Because I'm getting out of the hot seat here.
I know. I might need to pour me another one of these bad boys and just ask me questions.
Yes, and Jesse and Don, you're right. Absolutely, Satchel Paige isn't in there. Man, that would be awesome if he had been in there. Jason, what are you after these days? What are you looking for? What are you collecting? What do you have coming in?
I feel like I think I've talked off camera, of course, but I've been really focused on having fun tracking down players that I collect for $1 with free shipping. That's like been such a fun thing for me to do. Like, it's like going to a yard sale or a flea market or an antique store, and you just rummaging through it all and just see if you can find a good deal, right? I mean, like eBay's turned into that for me because it's so expensive right now. And like every card I was showing today, like I was showing the Eloy card, I got that for $1.
Nice.
I got the Satchel Paige for $1. I got the John Smoltz rookie card. I got for $1. I got the Derek Jeter sample for $1. I got the Kofi Kingston autograph for $1. I got the Jackie Robinson. This is like a $3-4 card roughly. Got it for $1. So I mean, I just been having fun doing that, because I think we all can agree that the hobby, if you're let it, especially right now, you can let it really get you down in the dumps and kind of just like, because it's becoming so expensive and things are hard to find and you can really kind of get like burned out or disappointed because it becomes not being fun when you're trying really hard to find wax or find a certain play you collect or a certain card you've been looking for because that's a card that means a lot to you in your collection or whatnot. And then you can't find it. If you do find it, it's like astronomical, in that. So I've been looking at things like that just to have fun with it. I also kind of like your approach you mentioned earlier was I am looking to spend more money, like having fun with modern stuff like that for $1 here and there, because you're not really out much money unless you do what I do and like do like 60 bids in a matter of like 24 hours. And then 7 days later, I actually win like a half of it. And I'm like, oh crap, like that backfired. But, but like right before I got on here, I don't know if I won it or not, but I put in a really high bid for me, a high bid for a 1951 Don Newcomb.
1951 Don Newcomb, cool.
And it was like a PSA or a SGC, like in the green label. It was like a 60, so it was like a PSA 5 for that it's like it's one of the food issues, I believe.
Okay.
And I can't remember what it was but it looked so beautiful. We talked about, it just looked great, and that for me was like really scary because like I really want to win that card, but if I win that card, that's quite a bit of money for me.
Hey man, I'll give you a unsolicited piece of advice. Like don't get too caught up in it. Like sometimes I've caught myself like bidding on something just because I really want it, and it's like, oh no, don't do that. And one thing I remember G's Mikey saying like a long time ago, he said, hey, look, there's always going to be another card. There's always going to be another card. It might be like 2 weeks from now, it might be 2 months from now, but like, don't end up getting a card that you regret in terms of how much you blow on it. But I want to point out something Sean Tieford said, which is, he says, this is what makes the hobby fun. And I'm going to guess he means like us getting to talk about all this stuff, right? Like sometimes if I can't get a card, it's kind of I'm bummed out or whatever, but I can also go on YouTube and enjoy vicariously other people getting stuff and be happy for people for, whatever they got that they're trying to collect. And if I was doing this by myself, I think this hobby would not be nearly as much fun as you taste it. Like, especially right now, because it's so hard to get stuff. So the fact that we can talk about it is great.
Well, the thing is that if you watch my sabbatical I did over 5 or 6 months, and then I've talked to you all both personally off camera, but like if you watch that video, you'll see like exactly what you said is the reason why I came back to the hobby, because I missed the camaraderie, I missed being able to connect with my passion with his baseball cards and the history of the game, and watching other people find cards that they like and seeing Bob do his stuff, see what you do with your stuff. I mean, you don't have, and I feel like that to me is just as much fun as I'm getting anything, myself. Totally. And, and you learn so much. Like I learned a lot. I mean, I learned more on like your guys' channel because you all have certain areas of expertise I just don't have, I mean, it's just the reality of it, I mean, sometimes Bob will be talking about certain, like, even though I'm not a football guy, he'll talk about football players in, there in Pittsburgh, or baseball players, of course, your channel's a lot more focused on the history of the game, Alex. So it's kind of goes without saying that you're going to have that aspect of it in your videos regardless. But, I think I can enjoy that. And so I do agree with what Sean said too. To me, that's what makes it more fun. And I realized I was missing out on that when I left. I was enjoying what I was doing, and I had fun doing it, and I had a nice little run. And I'm still collecting films. Still, I mean, that didn't change. But I think that for me, it was just you want to share the excitement and support one another, and what they're doing. So
definitely,
totally agree.
You guys were talking about purchasing eBay stuff, and like, Jay, you said like, you put in X amount of bids and then you end up winning so many of them or whatever. So when you guys are bidding, Alex, I imagine you're very, I don't know how many cards maybe you're looking at one point or whatever, but my question is more like, when you're bidding, do you look at a card and say, okay, I'm willing to go to this level with it, I'm going to just put that bid in, and if I win it for that, then good? Or do you sort of like, you put a feeler bid in and then watch it until the end and then make your final like push at the end? Like I've done both. I've done some where I'm just like, okay, that's a card that I'd like to have. I'm going to put a $50 bid in. If I win it for that, great. If not, I'm not bent out of shape. But then there's some like for maybe that same card, if it's one I really wanted, maybe I'll put like a $25, $30 bid in at some point to get in the action, but I'm going to watch it until like the last 10 seconds to make sure that like I get another bid in, maybe that's like my final like push for it.
Right. No, I think you and I are doing the same thing, Bob. Like I think it's all dependent on the card. Like if it's a card that I want, but if I miss it, it's not the end of the world. I mean, there's no card that I have to have, right? But there's some cards that's like, that's a good one to get, but if I lose the bid, okay. But then there are some where it's like, holy crap, like this is my one chance to get this card. And if I don't do this, I may not see another one like it for another couple of years. then I might be like more vigilant about it, and like maybe I even go beyond what I thought my top bid was going to be. But for me, that's been like I've done that maybe like twice that I can think of. I mean, most of the time I put in a bid. If I don't get it, okay, I move on.
Yeah, I think. I guess it ultimately it depends on that card. I mean, if you were a guy that was chasing stuff that's, something. The guy, whoever the collector is in the card that becomes available, they're going to know how many more opportunities they may have in the future to get that card, right? So it's like when some of those vintage rare food issue cards come up, I get why people are like, I'm going after that with everything. Like I haven't seen that card for years. I haven't seen one that nice for even longer, so
right.
But that's what drives the markets up, man. When you have something that is sought after, that's rare and high grade vintage or whatever, man, you can almost like name your price sometimes.
Right.
Not that I've been in that position.
Me neither.
So I actually won it. I just won it.
Nice. What did you win?
So it was a 1952 Burke Ross Don Newcomb.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
I'm so excited because I love the way this card looked.
So you better go cancel all your other bids? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm going to go ahead and stick with it. I had never seen this image before. I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, that's a cool one, man. Yeah, Burke Ross is pretty different. There are some really awesome cards in that set for sure. That one looks great.
Yeah. So I'm surprised I ended up winning because I thought at the last minute I'd get outbid. So I'm super pumped about that. Yeah. So I didn't mean to cut you all off, but I just thought I'd let you know.
Congratulations.
That's awesome, man. And you said it's SGC?
Yeah, I think it's the FGC. So, but yeah, anyways, I just was like, last night I saw it and I put like a little placer bid on there. And then I got outbid, of course, as you would expect. So then I was like, I'm going to put my limit. Like, I'm not going more than this. Now, Let me ask you all, that's a good question to ask. So,
how'd you come across that card?
Huh?
How'd you come across that card? Were you looking for Newcomb or?
Yeah, I was looking for, it was started out as $1. And 6 days ago, whatever. And I saw that and I put like a $10 bid on there and I was like, oh, I'm sure it'll go more than $10, And then when it went up to like 15 or 20 or whatever, I put in like 50. And I was like, you know what? If it goes more than 50, I'm not getting it. You know what I'm saying? It's whatever. But so that kind of goes me to what I was going to ask you guys. So do you all have, how some people, like if you go to a real auction, some people have a hard time stopping. Like, because they get caught up in the moment, right? It's like,
I've seen that sign.
Everybody has their paddles out. And they're like, oh, 55, 55, 65, 65, and you're just like, So do you all have that when you all do auctions on eBay? Do you say, I'm going to stop at 30. I'm going to stop at 120, whatever it is. But then in the moment of truth, you're like, okay, I'll do $10 more.
So yeah, I have a story for that. It was a triple feds. I didn't have many Austin Meadows patch cards of any kind, but there was a triple threads one that came up, numbered to 10, I think. It just looked sweet. And I don't know, I think it was probably right around like the first stimulus time. I was like, okay, a little extra. And I was probably around like the $50, $55 mark, but ended up going like 72. And I was like, but that's what it was. In the last 30, it was that bid, like just to try to get it like a true bidding war almost, but I have gone over what maybe I thought I should. And I probably I definitely overpaid for that card now. But it was fun in the moment, and man, it felt like gratifying to like be the winner of that. Like I had earned that one. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm
what
sure. I don't know how often that those situations work out. Like, I got a deal on the card. If it's comes down to the last 30 seconds and there's like 15 bids made. That usually ends up being better for the seller.
Right. What about you, Alex? I mean, obviously you said most of your buying all on eBay. So
Yeah. I don't
so
really.
what about you?
I'll do auctions, but I probably do more buy it nows or like making offers. But when I do auctions, my biggest problem with auctions is like if I really want the card, I can definitely get carried away. Like, if I see somebody's like definitely bidding me up, you can like let that fuel you, like you start to imagine that thing like, no, that's my card.
Right. You don't understand. That is my card. Yeah, right.
So I don't know. I
don't get that with the buy it nows.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Listen, there's been cards I've bought outright just because like I don't want to deal with it. I'll pay $10, $15, $20 more than maybe what I could have gotten at an auction, but like
totally. Totally.
I found the card I wanted. I'm going for it. Done. Check.
Try
to forget about it.
Yeah, I'll put in the maximum amount that I want, and then I'll just try to walk away from it. I'll try not to pay attention to it.
Here's another eBay thing I think I've heard a couple people talk about. So the idea of clicking the watch button so that provides the opportunity for the seller to throw offers.
I get those all the time,
Dude, that's been something I've been taking advantage of. Now, sometimes it's months before something like that happens, but I've definitely bit on a few of those.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
If the I don't know, sometimes it's like a 5 or 8% discount, but sometimes you get it back and it's like 20% or 25%. Yeah, okay. Now we're talking. Now we're at about where they're going in auction. So yeah, I'll jump on that.
Yeah,
I've also done. I'm sure I'm not telling anybody what they don't know already, but I also will be like the make an offer, and I learned that trick from Ed Wesker Griff, because he would always talk about. He goes, I would just offer them like this crazy low number, and then the person they'll take it, or they'll come all the way down to like within $5 of your lowest bid. So you're like, oh, I'd go back up 20 or 30, but the guy goes, okay, well I'll give you instead of 30, I'll give 35, but you're willing to go 55, but they don't know that. Like, all right, I'll do 35. And I was like, that's such a great strategy also because that's an opportunity, because the worst thing they can say is just deny it or they decline the offer. But it's amazing how many people will say, oh, I got some. It's like if you see that commercial with the old guy with the dollar bill hanging off of the fishing rod, like, oh, you almost got it. And it's like you putting out there that you're interested in it, they want to make that sell. Sorry.
Yeah, they want to get rid of what they have. Like some of this stuff's been sitting on eBay forever. I've got stuff in my watch list that I like bookmarked 3 years ago. And I know that if I wanted to, and I was I really wanted to get it, I could probably reach out to them and be like, hey, so I see you posted this in like 1995. Maybe you want to sell it. Like,
right.
What's the mindset of the person who? Like, I hear this, like, I'm going to put something on eBay for some astronomical price because I really don't want to sell it. Like,
right.
What's the point of that? Like, what's the mindset that goes into that? I don't know. Because
I know that
some schmuck to come by and be like, not check that you could get this card for $100 or $200 cheaper, like somewhere else. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
I mean, I know that I've talked to Tracy, who runs Four Shop Corners, and he said that he'll post cards in his shop on the eBay store, and he goes, I don't really want to sell the card, but if somebody wants to give me the ridiculous offer I'm going to put on there, then yeah, I'll sell it. And he'll do that like with a Pete Rose rookie card because that's such a desirable card. and like so let's say that gray normal. Let's say he'll have like a 4 or 5 or something. And that car goes for, let's say, $700. I'm just throwing out a number, and then he puts $1,695, like well over the amount.
Yeah.
And he goes. People will say, "Will you take 15?" And he's like, "Yes, I will," because it's like such a ludicrous number over it anyways. But
Right.
You have some people who just want to do that. I would never be that guy, but he goes. It happens a lot for him because. These cars are hard to come by sometimes, so people pay the extra. I guess I don't know.
Right.
I'm
I
sure
would
I
never
can
do
go
it.
on
but-
Hey guys, I gotta take off.
All
All
right,
right,
Alex.
man.
Good chat.
I gotta go too, man. So my phone's getting ready to die.
Okay.
So,
All right.
All right, guys.
Take care, everybody.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Whoa, Alex was like really gone. He was like gone like that.
Yeah, the finger on the button.
It was like Thanos' snap in Avengers. He was like, boom.
Hey, man.
All
he
right,
was
guys.
not
Thanks for
lying.
watching, man. All right,
DJ.
peace.